Now, who won?
Okay.
Drum roll.
Okay.
And the winner is Caitlin Clark.
Clearly, we want her out there. I think she draws so much attention, and she's a phenomenal player. But at the same time, I think it's a great time for her to learn from the...
A stunning goodbye, a heartbreaking loss, and one letter nobody saw coming. This is the story that has the entire WNBA world talking right now. 3 women, 1 team, and a bond so strong. It survived pain, silence, and heartbreak. But everything changed the moment they decided to speak up. Just days ago, everything looked perfect for the Indiana Fever. Then, out of nowhere, it all flipped upside down. Stick around, because what happened next left fans absolutely stunned. Let's rewind to July 19th, 2026. This was supposed to be the biggest weekend of the year for Indianapolis. Every hotel room in the city was booked. Every ticket for league weekend was gone within minutes. And on every single banner across downtown, one face stood out, Caitlin Clark. At just 23 years old, this young star had already flipped the entire league on its head. People weren't just showing up to watch a basketball game. They were showing up to witness history. Even before she stepped foot in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was already a name everyone knew. Her college run at Iowa had fans losing their minds every single night. But once she hit the pro level, she proved she was no fluke. Quick hands, fearless drives, and a personality that lit up every arena she walked into. In no time, she became the heartbeat of the Indiana Fever. Her rookie year was just the warm-up. By year 2, she wasn't chasing the league's veterans anymore. She was passing them. And when she picked up the WNBA Player of the Year trophy at the ESPYs in early July, it confirmed what everyone already suspected. She had officially arrived. Big names like Breanna Stewart and Aya Wilson had ruled this league for years. Now, there was a new name at the top, and it sent shockwaves everywhere. For a player still early in her career, this wasn't just an award. It was a statement. The stage was set for league weekend, and Caitlin Clark was the face of it all. Favorite to win the 3-point contest, captain of the All-Star game. It felt like the story had already written its own perfect ending. Then, just like that, everything flipped. Only days after picking up one of the biggest honors in sports, Caitlin Clark announced she was pulling out of league weekend completely. No 3-point contest. No All-Star game. No court time at all. It hit like a thunderbolt. One moment, she was on top of the world. The next, silence. So what really happened behind the scenes? Stay with us, because the real reason is nothing like what fans expected. It all traces back to a tough matchup against the New York Liberty. Midway through the game, Caitlin Clark's movement slowed down. She grabbed her side, wincing in pain. At first, it looked minor, maybe just fatigue catching up with her. But when she limped toward the bench, clearly hurting, concern spread fast through the arena. Turns out, she had quietly been managing a groin injury for weeks. This game made it clear the injury had gotten worse. Head coach Stephanie White assured everyone she'd get a full evaluation, but nobody expected the outcome to be this serious. Just days earlier, she was standing on stage as one of the youngest players ever to win Player of the Year. Now she was stepping away from everything. The 3-point shootout, the All-Star spotlight, and the chance to shine in front of her own hometown crowd. On July 17th, she confirmed the news herself. The timing could not have been worse. In a short but heartfelt message, she thanked her fans, admitted her disappointment, and made it clear her health came first. Even while stepping back, she promised she'd still be cheering from the sidelines with the same energy she brings to the court. It was a mature call, one that showed she was thinking about the long run, not just for herself, but for her team too. With Caitlin Clark out, someone had to fill the gap, and the league didn't need to look far. Enter Lexi Hull. While all eyes were on Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull had quietly been putting together one of the best seasons of her career, especially from beyond the arc. Her 3-point numbers spoke for themselves, and coaches already knew she had what it took to step into the spotlight when called on. But behind that opportunity was a heartbreak of her own. Just days before getting the call up, Lexi Hull lost her dog, Maggie, a companion who had been by her side for 14 years. This wasn't just a pet. This was family. She shared the news through a simple black and white photo and a short, emotional caption, saying life at home just wouldn't feel the same without her. The response was instant and massive. Out of the thousands of messages that flooded in, 2 stood out above the rest. Caitlin Clark simply wrote, "Love you." And teammate Sophie Cunningham replied, "No, Lex. I'm so sorry." Just a few words, but they told a much bigger story, one about real friendship and emotional strength. This wasn't just a roster of players. This was a sisterhood. Through the highs, through the lows, they showed up for each other. Lexi Hull didn't have to carry her grief by herself. That support showed up in every practice, every interview, every post. These women weren't just teammates. They were lifelines to one another. As Lexi Hull prepared to step onto the court carrying a heavy heart, and Caitlin Clark got ready to cheer from the bench instead of leading the charge, fans began noticing something bigger than stats or trophies. They saw heart. They saw loyalty. They saw what happens when the game pauses, but the bond between players never does. And through all of it, one player was quietly holding everything together. Sophie Cunningham. Long known for her tough defense and her knack for getting under an opponent's skin, it was her loyalty off the court that truly set her apart. Earlier in the season, when Caitlin Clark took a hard hit and no official stepped in right away, Sophie Cunningham didn't hesitate. She stood up for her teammate immediately, no questions asked. The league fined her for it, but fans saw something deeper, a player who protects with heart, not just plays with passion. From that moment on, she wasn't just seen as a teammate. She became a leader who showed up exactly when it mattered most. And it wasn't just Caitlin Clark she looked out for. In the days following Maggie's passing, she made sure Lexi Hull never felt alone either, quietly stepping into the role of the team's big sister. Through practice, through the tough moments, and through simple check-in messages that meant more than people realized. Fans noticed this closeness and gave the trio a nickname, Tres Leches, a playful nod to the dessert, but the meaning ran deeper. It stood for strength, sweetness, and three completely different personalities blending into something special. Lexi Hull, the quiet warrior. Sophie Cunningham, the fierce protector. Caitlin Clark, the electric spark. Together, they became the emotional core of the Indiana Fever. Sophie Cunningham loved the nickname so much, she even had a custom jersey made with cartoon versions of all three of them. Their bond wasn't built overnight. It grew through the grind. Extra shooting drills after practice, late-night hotel conversations, and the kind of quiet support that only shows up when nobody's watching. Tres Leches wasn't just a fun nickname. It became their way of surviving the season together. Each one brought something the others needed. Lexi Hull's focus, Sophie Cunningham's fire, Caitlin Clark's flash. Alone, they were talented. Together, they were unstoppable. So what really made this friendship unbreakable? Was it forged in the quiet battles nobody else saw, far from the cameras and the headlines? It started with the small moments most people never noticed, like when Caitlin Clark learned she'd be missing league weekend right after one of the biggest wins of her career. She had spent years working toward that spotlight, and instead of celebrating, she found herself watching from the sidelines. The disappointment was real, but what followed was even more powerful. Her teammates made sure she never faced it alone. Sophie Cunningham has always been the emotional glue of this team, soft when needed, fierce when it counted. She didn't offer empty encouragement or rehearsed lines. She just showed up, checked in, cracked jokes, and kept things light without ignoring the reality of the situation. Quiet, but constant support. Meanwhile, just days before the Fever returned home from a grueling road trip, Lexi Hull was dealing with her own private heartbreak. The dog who had been by her side through college stress, high school finals, and her early years in the league was suddenly gone. It never made headlines, but for her, it was devastating. Yet even in her grief, she kept showing up for her teammates. No big speeches, no dramatic gestures, just quiet strength from someone who understood pain and still chose to lift others up anyway. It wasn't a win streak or a locker room pep talk that brought this trio together. It was the small, silent moments. A shoulder squeeze before tip-off. A quick glance that said, "I've got you." They wore the same jersey, sure, but more importantly, they made sure no one carried their weight alone. Fans didn't fall in love with this group because of scoring titles or highlight reels. They fell in love because of what was real, love, plain and simple. Sophie Cunningham standing up for her teammates. Lexi Hull showing up despite her loss. And the people around Caitlin Clark helping her smile again. This wasn't just a team playing basketball. This was a lesson in what real teamwork actually looks like. Before Sophie Cunningham's influence took hold, the Fever were talented but still figuring out their identity. Then she brought something different. Not loud leadership, but steady, grounded energy that changed the entire locker room. She showed up early, checked in without being asked, and slowly turned a group of individual talents into a real family. That shift showed up clearly in Lexi Hull's game too. Once viewed as a role player, she transformed into one of the league's most reliable three-point shooters, hitting close to 49% from deep. That kind of jump doesn't come from mechanics alone. It comes from confidence, built inside a locker room that made her feel seen, supported, and free to take the big shot. And when Caitlin Clark had to step away due to injury, a moment that could have broken a young roster instead made them stronger. Roles became clearer, trust deepened. The chemistry didn't fade, it grew. What looked like the team just surviving without their star was actually something much bigger, a transformation. The Fever weren't just holding on. They were becoming something more powerful than a one-player system. They were becoming a family. And fans everywhere have been watching this story unfold, sharing it, discussing it, and falling in love with a group of athletes who prove that connection matters just as much as talent. So here's the real question worth sitting with. What actually turned the Indiana Fever's season around? Was it raw talent and skill? Or was it something deeper? This unshakable bond between Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, and Caitlin Clark. Because if you think about it, talent alone doesn't explain everything. Plenty of teams have great players. Not every team has this. Not every team has someone like Sophie Cunningham stepping in without hesitation to protect a teammate. Not every team has a player like Lexi Hull, grieving in silence, still showing up for everyone else. And not every team has a young superstar like Caitlin Clark, who could have disappeared into her own disappointment, but instead chose to stay present for her teammates anyway. Maybe that's the real secret here. Skill gets you noticed. But bonds like this, the kind built in quiet moments, away from the cameras, that's what carries a team through the hardest stretches of a season. So we want to hear from you. Do you think this team wins because of what they can do on the court, or because of who they are off it? Let us know down in the comments. We read every single one, and honestly, some of the best perspectives come straight from you. If this story hit you the way it hit us, do us a favor and tap that like button. It really does help more people discover stories like this one. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because trust us, this story is far from over. There's more coming, and you won't want to miss it. We'll see you in the next one.